So welcome to today's session. This is Fundamentals of Abhidhamma, Week 4, Sutta, Part 4, Class 4. I request Bhante Kusala to please give us Ratana Sutta and start the session.
Namo Dasa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Dasa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Dasa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Samanda Chakawalisu Adara Gichandu Devada Sadama Munira Satsa Sunandu Sagayam Dhamma Sawana Galo Yambadanda Dhamma Sawana Galo Yambadanda Dhamma Sawana Galo Yambadanda Namo Dasa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Namo Dasa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Namo Dasa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Yanida Bhutani Samagadani Bomani wa Yaniwa Leke Sabewa Buddha Sumana Bondu Atobi Sagicha Sunandu Basidam Tasamahi Buddha Nisametha Sabe Metangrota Manusia Bajaya Iwa Charado Jarandi Yibele Tasamahi Nirakata Apamada Yangeji Weda Idava Huranwa Sagizuwa Yang Ratanam Banidam Nano Sama Adi Tatagadina Idambi Bodhi Ratanam Banida Idina Sijina Sudi Hodu Kaya Viraga Amadam Banida Yadi Jaga Sajamuni Samahido Nadina Damina Samadhi Gaiji Idambi Dami Ratanam Banida Idina Sijina Sudi Hodu Yang Bodha Sito Briwana Yesu Che Samadhi Manadri Kenya Mahu Samadhi Na Dina Smo Nawe Jadi Idambi Dami Ratanam Banida Idina Sijina Sudi Hodu Ye Bogla Ata Sadam Basada Sadari Idani Yugani Hundi De Daki Nea Sugadasa Savaga Ide Sudinani Mahablani Idambi Sangi Ratanam Banida Idina Sijina Sudi Hodu Yeso Bayuda Manasa Danglina Nigami no Gorma Sasanambi De Padibada Amadan Wigasha Lada Mura Nibude Bonza Mana Idambi Sange Ratanam Banida Edena Sijena Sudi Odu Yatinda Kilobrawesi Dosia Strobi Wadi Asam Bakambio Tatubaman Saburi Sanwarami Yoria Sijani Awisa Basri Idambi Sangi Ratanam Banida Edena Sijena Sudi Odu Yeria Sijani Wibawayandi Gambira Binyena Sudesi Dani Gencha Bide Hundi Busambamada Na Debon Adama Madiandi Idambi Sangi Ratanam Banida Edena Sijena Sudi Odu Sahawosa Dasana Sambaraya Dayasu Dhamma Jahida Bondi Sagaya Didi Wishigachi Densa Sila Brahma Bidadi Gainchi Sudua Baye Cha Wibamodo Se Chabi Dhanani Ababa Gadon Idambi Sangi Ratanam Banida Edena Sijena Sudi Odu Gainchabi So Gama Grodi Babaganga Yana Wacha Udas Shitasawa Ababa Soda Sabrisraya Ababa Dadita Brasa Oda Idambi Sangi Ratanam Banida Edena Sijena Sudi Odu Wanabgome Yada Posita Gimana Masi Pramas Main Game Tadubamandama Vara Adesai Nebana Gamin Pramahitaya Idambi Bote Ratanam Banida Edena Sijena Sudi Odu Ro Renew Rato Rahero Anudro Damavara Adesai Idambi Bote Ratanam Banida Edena Sijena Sudi Odu Kina Burana Nawanati Samawan Vidada Sita Yadige Bawasa Main Dekina Bisa Awironi Sanda Nibandi dira yathayamdiva idambi sangiradana banida idana sijina sudi hodu yanida budani smagadani bomani wa yani wandelege Tadagadan diwamnosa pujidan bodhanamasa masudi hodu yanida budani smagadani bomani wa yani wandelege Tadagadan diwamnosa pujidan dhammanamasa masudi hodu yanida budani smagadani Omani Vayani Vandaleke Tatagadan Devamnosa Pujidan Sanganamasa Masudi Hodum Idipiso Bhagavarahan Samasamboda Veja Charana Sambano Sugadolo Gavidu Anudara Burisa Dhammasarati Sata Devamnosa Nambodo Bhagava Swagado Bhagava Dadamo Sanidigo Galigo Ebasigo Obanigo Pichadan Uridabo Venyuhi Sopati Bano Vado Savaga Sango, Ujubri Bano Vado Savaga Sango, Nyaya Bribano Vado Savaga Sango, Samise Bribano Vado Savaga Sango, Yadidan Chatari Purisa, Yuganyata Purisa Bugla, Isavado Savaga Sango, Auneo, Bauneo, Degineo, Ichilipreneo. Anudaram punya gidan logasa yung bodhan sradanan dhammasangisa bigawa bayang wasam bidadan wa lomahan so nahisdi yanduni medan wa mingli jayo jamna bosukuna sasado bhavego dosubina ganam bodhanu bawe na winasamindo yanduni medan wa mingli jayo jamna bosukuna sasado bhavego dosubina aganan dhammanu bawe na winasamindo Yandoni Medawa Mingli Jayo Jamna Bosuguna Zaro Pabego Dusubina Gana Sanga Nubawe Nawina Samindo Owadu Saba Mingla Rakandu Saba Diwada Saba Bodanu Bawe Nasra Suki Pundu De Owadu Saba Mingla Rakandu Saba Diwada Saba Dhamma Nubawe Nasra Suki Pundu De Owadu Saba Mingla Rakandu Saba Diwada Saba Sanganu Bawe Nasra Sugi Bondu De Savidio Wijandu Sogorogo Winasandu Made Bondundrayo Sugi Diga Yugo Bawabi Wadana Silesa Nechan Oda Pachayino Chadaro Dama Wudandu Ayu Uno Sukham Balam Sadhu Sadhu Sadhu.
Thank you very much, Bhante. So this is week 4, Fundamentals of Abhidhamma, Sutta study. And I request Vaishali Tai to please conduct today's session. Go ahead, Tai.
Thank you, Pankaj. Am I audible enough, clearly?
Yes, Tai.
Okay. Bhante, with your permission.
Yeah.
Thank you. Welcome you all to today's session, that is week 4 and 5th of July in India, in the USA, and in Asia it is 6th of July morning. So welcome you all today to this session of Sutta study. We have the Bramhajala Sutta that we would be studying today. Yeah. So the Bramhajala Sutta. The 5 Nikayas that we have, the Sutta Pitaka. Bramhajala Sutta comes in the Digha Nikaya, the long discourses. And in the Digha Nikaya, Bramhajala Sutta, the discourse on the net. So this sutta appears in the Tipitaka, Mula Tipitaka, Sutta Pitaka, and the Digha Nikaya. The first sutta in the Digha Nikaya, Bramhajala Sutta. Its place in Tipitaka is in the Sila Khanda Vagga Padi. So it falls under the Sila Khanda Vagga. It is the first of the 34 suttas in the Digha Nikaya. In this sutta, the Buddha mentions the wrong views that beings are entangled in. This sutta again, the Buddha teaches us in this sutta about wrong views. That means what the teaching is not about. And whatever is taught in the sutta in terms of wrong views, if we separate all of those, what remains are the true teachings of the Buddha. So wrong views means michchaditthi. Now a little bit about the background. This is a very important sutta in Myanmar. This sutta was recited by Arhanta Bhante, Son and Uttara, sent by Emperor Asoka in the 3rd century BCE. And Arhanta Bhante, Son, Uttara, Thera recited to the people of the Mon state of Myanmar in re-establishing Buddhism in the Mon kingdom of Myanmar. Why did they recite that? To teach what is wrong view and what is right view. So that is the history of this sutta in Myanmar. So what does jala mean? Brahmajala. Jala means net, netting, entanglement. The Dhammapada 251, it states that Nati raga samo agi, Nati dosa samo gaho, Nati moha samang jalam, Nati tanha samang nadi. So there is no fire like lust, no grip like hate, no net like delusion, and no river like craving. The sutta begins with the Paribhajak Katha about the wandering ascetics. So this sutta, what is the place, time, and to whom is this sutta given by the Buddha? So this sutta begins with Evam me suttam, as recited by Bhante Ananda in the first Buddhist council. Ekam samayam bhagva antaracha rajagahang antaracha nalandang adhana magga patipanno hoti mahatta bhikkhu sanghena sadhin panchamatehi bhikkhu satehi. Basically, the Buddha is on the way on the long route from Rajgaha to Nalanda. And along with him, there are 500 bhikkhus sangha, the sangha comprising of 500 bhikkhus. And again, there is another wandering ascetic, Paribhajaka, Suppiya, and his disciple, Brahmadatta, following the Buddha and the bhikkhu sangha on the same route. So on the way, we see that the Buddha is followed by the complete sangha of 500 bhikkhus, and behind them Suppiya and Brahmadatta. They are also following. And what we see is, what everyone is hearing is the Paribhajaka Suppiya. He is talking about the Buddha and he is blaming the Buddha. And his disciple, Brahmadatta, he is actually praising the Buddha, just in contrast. So when that night the Buddha rests on the way, on the king's rest house at Ambalatika garden, Ambalatikayam Rajagarake, so Supriya and Brahmadatta, they also rest in the same garden, same rest house. And early morning, the 500 bhikkhus, they gather in the pavilion in Mandal Male. So the Buddha approached the bhikkhus and inquire of the bhikkhu sangha, what is the subject of talk? What are you talking about? So the Buddha says, when the bhikkhu sangha talk about what is happening around over there, what is, since yesterday they have been observing about the Paribhajaka Brahmadatta and the disciple Brahmadatta and his teacher, Supriya. So they say, everyone, all the Bhikkhu Sangha hearing about these discussion, they say, they talk to the Buddha and tell Buddha that this is all about happening around. So the Buddha says, do not be angry if someone talks bad about the three jewels, about me, about Dhamma, about Sangha. Do not be angry if someone talks bad. So it will only be harmful to you. Because when you are affected by their speech, you will not be able to discriminate their good speech, bad speech. So what should you do when others are talking bad about the Buddha Dhamma Sangha? So the Buddha says, Mamang va bhikkave pare avannang bhasayum, dhammassa va avannang bhasayum, sanghassa va avannang bhasayum, tatra tumhe hi na aghato, na apacchayo, na chetaso, anabhiradhi karniya. Tumhe asatha kupita, na anatta manava, tumhang yevasatena antarayo. Apinukho tumhe paresam subhasitam dubhasitam ajanayat. So the Buddha says that you should not be angry, you should not be kupita, you should not be unhappy, you should not be affected by anyone who is not talking in a proper way about the Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha. So if others malign me or the Dhamma or the Sangha, you should explain to them what is false as false, saying, it is not true. It is not so, it is not true. It is indeed not thus with us. Such fault is not to be found among us. So this is the way you should respond. Similarly, if someone is praising the Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, the three jewels, then do not be displeased. Do not be pleased if someone praises the three jewels. If you feel pleased or delighted or elated when others praise me or the Dhamma or the Sangha, it will only be harmful to you. You should admit what is true as true, saying it is so. It is true. It is indeed thus with us. In fact, it is to be found among us. Iti petam bhutam, iti petam tak, ati chetam amhesu. Samvichati na panetam amhesu. So this is what the Buddha explains about how to look at when someone praise the Buddha Dhamma Sangha and someone who does not praise the Buddha Dhamma Sangha or blames the Buddha Dhamma Sangha. In both the cases, one should say, if it is true, one should say, yes, this is true, this is so amongst us. And if it is not true, if it is a blame, say, no, this is not true, this is not the way we amongst us. And further, the Buddha talks about the Chula Sila, minor morality. So the Dhammapad Gatha again, 53, it says, Evam jatena machena kattabang kusalang bahu. Just as from a heap of flowers, one might make a lot of garlands, so should many good deeds be done by one who is born a mortal. So the Buddha is talking about the Kusala Kamma in the next aspect. Kusala Kamma meaning the Chula Sila, the minor morality. So in beginning itself, the Buddha is talking about in details about the Sila to the 500 bhikkhus. So Katumanchitang bhikkhave appamattang oramattang silamattang yena putujano tathagatasya vannang vaddamano vadeya. What are those matters that when a worldling praises the Tathagata, he might do so only in respect of matters of trifling and inferior nature or merely morality. So the Buddha says some people might say that the Tathagata follows the Sila, the moralities, the Chula Sila. But this is just Putujana, people, common people, worldling people. They praise the Tathagata and do so in respect of smaller things, inferior nature, just morality. They say that, okay, the Tathagata follows morality. So minor morality is basic morality. So the Buddha then go on further to explain what is Chula Sila, the basic morality, most of which is applicable to all. So the Putujana, a worldling, a common man who does not know about higher attainments of the Magga Phala. So the Buddha is talking about such a person, speaking about the Buddha Dhamma Sangha in this way. Panatipata pahaya, panatipata pativirato. Abandons all thoughts of taking life. So, Samano Gotamo abstains from destruction of life. Nihita dando, setting aside. So, no, without any stick. Nihita satto, without any weapons. Laji is shy to do evil things. Things about panatipata is shy. The Buddha is shy to do such evil things. Dayapannu, in solicitude. Sabba pana bhuta, hit anukampi. So, sabba, all, pana bhuta, all beings, hitanukampi, for the welfare and compassion of all living beings, viharati, dwells. So the Buddha dwells in this way. Second, the Buddha dwells in such a way that adinnadanang pahaya, adinnadana pativirato, abandons all thoughts of taking what is not given. So abstains from taking what is not given. Dinna dai, dinna patikankhi, accept only what is given, wishing to receive only what is given. Athenena suchi bhutena attana viharati, establishes himself in purity by abstaining from committing theft. Similarly, the third sila, Brahmacharyang pahaya, Brahmachari samano gotamo, arachari virato methuna gama dhamma. So abandons all thoughts of leading a life of unchastely and practices chastity, remaining virtuous and abstinent from sexual intercourse and practice of lay people. Musavadam pahaya, musavada pativirato samano gotamo, satyavadi, satyasandho, theto, pachaiko, avinsambadako lokasati. The Buddha abandons all thoughts of telling lies, abstains from telling lies, speaking only the truth, combining truth with truth, remaining steadfast in truth, trustworthy and not deceived. So the Buddha speaks only what is real truth. Then Pisura Vachaya Pativirato Hoti. Abstains from slander, speaking only the truth. Farusa Vachaya Pativirato Hoti. Reconciles those who are is in accord, in unity, in harmony. Speech which unites. Samsvapalapa Pativirato Hoti. Not idle speech or no blameless, speaks only blameless words. Then further, there are 26 Chula Sila in all, in that Buddha is talking about. These are the 26 smallest Sila, minor Sila that are there. Bijagama, Bhutagama, Samarambha. So does not destroy seeds. Eka Bhattiko, having food one time. Nachagita Vadita Visukadasana is abstaining from song, dance. Mala Gandha Vilepana Dharana Mandana Visubhanatana, Vibhusanatana. So, away from any adornments, Uchchasayana Mahasayana, abstaining from luxurious beds, sleeping on luxurious beds, and so on and so forth. We have always also seen all of these sila in the Sigalovada Sutta. Jata, Rupa, Jata, Paripati, Gana, and so many of them, like Itti Kumarika, not taking any females, Dasi, Dasa, again not taking any slaves. So these are all of them that the seal are mentioned in the 26 Chula seal that are mentioned in the Sila Khanda part. Then we have the Majjhima Sila, middle morality. In this again, abstention from destroying off seeds. So the Buddha abstains from destroying such seeds as vegetation. So the Buddha tells the bhikkhus that a Puthujana might praise the Tathagata in this manner, that the Buddha abstains from destroying such seeds and vegetation. Then abstaining up and using things offered, such as cooked rice, beverages, clothing, sandals, beds, perfumes, and other eatables. So abstaining from storing things. There are 10 Majjhima Sila, what are mentioned in the sutta. Then the third one is abstaining from watching entertainment, like dancing, singing, music, shows, recitation. Each and every action or activity is described in details. Like whatever such activities that were present during that time, those kind of activities are one can see that we can study these were the types of such entertainment activities during the time of the Buddha prevalent. And therefore we can see that such detailed mention of those activities is given in the sutta. Brass instrument playing, drum playing, art exhibitions, playing with iron ball, bamboo rain games, rituals of washing the bones of the dead, elephant fights, horse fights, buffalo fights, bull fights, goat fights, sheep fights, all such kind of animal fights, boxing, wrestling, military tattoos, military reviews, route marches, and troop movement. The Buddha is talking to the 500 bhikkhus about all of these things, about the sila. So these are kind of vinaya for the bhikkhus. Again, we have abstaining from gambling, taking part in sports and games that weakens one's vigilance in the practice of morality. And what are such sports and games? Like playing chess. So just playing chess is mentioned in so many ways in the sutta, like with 4 maybe dice, or with 8 dice, with 10 dice, 16 dice, something like that. Flipping corries and all these kind of games, playing with brush and paints, playing marbles, playing at whist with bited leaves, okay. Playing with miniature toys, acrobatics. So these are the games that must be prevalent even at that time, and that the bhikkhus do not engage in such activities. In fact, here the Buddha is saying that a Putujana might praise the Buddha in this way, that the Buddha does not involve in such kind of activities. Again, Buddha reminds that it is in a tripling manner. Then the 5th, Majjhima Sila, abstaining from high and luxurious beds and their furnishings. High couches, divans, made of silk, made of animal skin, abstains from using all these things. Then, beautifying or adorning themselves, like perfume, cosmetics, developing one's physique, using mirrors, painting the face for that matter, decorating with flowers, applying cosmetics, and these kind of things. And in unprofitable talk, abstaining from such talk. So this is, in Samfa Palapavacha, it's actually kind of Samfa Palapavacha. But here it is very well specially spoken about. Such kind of talk is not conducive to the practice of attaining either Nibbana or the higher realms, the Devaloka. So talk like kings, about kings, that means politics, thieves, ministers, armed forces, calamities. Even talk about calamities, battles, food, drink, clothing, beds, flowers, perfumes, relatives, vehicles, villages, market towns, cities, provinces, women folk, heroes, streets, waterfronts, departed, trivialities, universe, oceans, prosperity, adversity, and so on. And then the 8th one, abstention from engaging in mutually disparaging disputes. Like saying, you do not know this doctrine and discipline. I know this doctrine and discipline. How can you ever know this doctrine and discipline? You practice in wrong way. My practice is right. My speech is sensible. And so on and so forth. then abstaining from serving as messengers or couriers. What are such services? This place to that place, coming from that place to this place, carrying things from here to there, bringing things on behalf of some people like kings, ministers, and other people, relatives, householders. So the Samana Gautama abstains from serving as messengers or couriers. Abstention from practicing deceitful pretensions to attainments. Not speaking about those things that have not been attained. So abstaining from such speech. Certain respected samanas and brahmanas who, living on the food offered out of faith, practice deceitful pretensions, flattery, subtle insinuation by signs and indications, using pressure to get offerings, and seeking of more gain by cunning offer to gifts. Samana Gautama abstains from such pretension and flattery. So this is about the Majjhim Sila. Now we look at the major Sila. Basically, here we are talking about the Sila, and the Buddha is talking about these Sila to the bhikkhus. So these Sila basically are for as kind of Vinaya for the bhikkhus. So here there are again 7 Mahasila. They are certain respected samanas and brahmanas who, living on the food offered out of faith, make a wrongful living by means of low arts. So these Mahasila are about low arts. And they are not conducive to the attainment of realms and Nibbana in the practice of the Dhamma. What are these low arts? Like fortune telling, reading characteristics of men, women, making prediction of king and subjects. Making prediction in the sense, it is kind of fortune telling again. Most of it is like making fortune, speaking about fortune telling, about natural phenomena, about weather, arranging marriage, and propitiating the devas. So this is the foundation to the Bramhajala Sutta. So Sila, based on Sila, the mind becomes calm, more peaceful, more harmonious. And then the Buddha talks about the 62 Micchaditti gradually, in a gradual way. To begin with, these 62 Micchaditti are divided into 2 categories. One is Pubbant Anuditti, Pubbanta Anuditti. Pubba means earlier, past. Ditti is a wrong view. Anu means following. So, Pubbant Anuditti means the group of wrong views which are based on past existences. And the second one is Apparanta Anuditti, the group of wrong views which are thoughts or speculations on the future, Apparanta. Now, Pubbanta Anuditti further is divided into 5 subcategories. Whenever we are talking about the Ditti here, we can see in the sutta that the Buddha talks about Ditti from the perspective of Atta and Loka. Atta means self, and Loka is the world. So the thing is existence, we can say, Loka as existence. So here what we can understand is the Buddha talks about Atta and the existence in such a way that whatever such kind of views or understanding or the different types of teachers that were there had knowledge about or the Atta and Loka. It was actually something that was prevailing at that time. So many kinds of wrong views must be prevailing at that time. So the false view that says Atta and Loka is eternal, is always there. Sasatta Ditti, that is eternal, always. There are 4 kinds of views in this group, that Atta is eternal, Loka is eternal. So these kind of concepts are there. The first view is on Saswat, Sasat. Ditti is recollection of as many up to 1 lakh past existences in the past, because this is about Pubbant Anuditti. So this is about the past. Then the second view is recollection of as many up to 10 past cycles of dissolution and development. Kappa, we can say, 10 kappa. Third eternity view is recollection of as many up to 40 such dissolution development of the world cycles, past cycles. And the fourth one is reasons and investigates based on this ditti by Samanas and Brahmanas. So Atta and Loka are eternal. That is the kind of concept that is there. Always eternal. So this is about the Shashvat Sasatta Ditti. Ekacha Sasatta Ditti. So the false view that it says, here it is a dual view of eternality, which says that Atta and Loka are in some cases eternal and in other cases not eternal. So here there is no definitive answer. It is more like in some case there is self and Loka. In some cases it does not exist. So there are 4 different dualistic views in this group. Dissolution and arising of the world system, first one. The second one is there are some devas who are corrupted by pleasure, Khidda Padosikas. So they need to eat. So they are like enjoying eating. So such kind of devas, again, that they have Sasata Ditti. Then Manopadosikas, that dwell on the plane of 4 great kings. So they was corrupted by jealousy and hatred. So there are some kings, 4 great kings, who are corrupted by jealousy and hatred. Then 4 dualistic views of eternity. So fourth one, it's reasons and investigates basis on the ditti held by Samanas and Brahmanas, who propound physical body, Atta, is not eternal. Consciousness, Atta, is eternal. The body is not Sasata, but the consciousness, Atta, self, is there. Then the third type is Anta Ananta Ditti. Anta, finite. Ananta is infinite. So the false view or Michha Ditti here is the world system is finite. This is the first one of the 4 groups. The world system is infinite. This is the other one. Then the world system is finite vertically and infinite horizontally. And fourth one is the world system is neither finite nor infinite. So what we see from here is for us to understand, it is understand each and every ditti based on self, Atta and Loka. How does it culminate? Where does it lead to? So this is the different philosophies of religions, different religions or different schools of thought. Because we do not have exposure to all these kind of views or ideas, but such kind did exist, or even they exist even today. So then we have another wrong view of Amara Vikhepaditi, the false view who gives no definite answer, but sits on the fence, on the safe side, when one does not want to admit about not knowing the answer to a question put forth. So there are 4 causes of Samanas and Brahmanas sitting on the fence. What are those 4 causes that lead to fear? The fear that wrong answer would cause them distress, and that would be harmful. The fear that wrong answer might cause arising of the mental defilements, which would be harmful. And the fear of one being taken to the task of wrong answer, and then lack of wisdom. So all this kind of ditthi is already there. And therefore, to take a safe side, some would have the fear of answering of facing such kind of answers. Then we have adicca samuppanna ditthi. So here there is no cause. The false views that atta as well as loka arise without any cause. 2 groups of persons who hold this view. Asanya satta brahmas. Asanya satta. Satta are beings. Asanya is not having perception. Asanya. So who have only body and no mind in previous existence. Atta and lok arise by themselves without anything to cause their appearance. And persons who base on speculation their view. So this is another kind of ditthi which does not have a cause. It is without any cause. So here we have aparantanu ditthi, 44 of them. We finished with the Pubbanta Anuditti, 18 wrong views which existed at that time. So we have the future, about future. What are the 44 wrong views? 16 kinds of belief in Sanya after death. So after death, what happens? All these ditthis that we spoke about, where what happens in the past life, in the past 1 lakh lives, 10,000 lives, and so on and so forth. Or maybe few kappas before, in all those past existence, what happened? Or what is the understanding? And now we will be looking at Aparantanu Ditthi, 44 wrong views. Now these wrong views about the future also is again related to Atta, self, and again the loka. So how to understand? Because we have not yet discussed about the loka from the perspective of the 31 planes of existence. And then from this perspective, then how do we understand? So all these understandings are within us, the way we look at things. But how each one of us is looking at things in a different way. So we will, at the end of this, after a few slides, after we finish with the ditthis, we come at the end of the description of the wrong views, and we will understand more clearly what exactly we are talking about. So we will just go through all of these Aparantanu Ditthi, 44 wrong views, wherein the first case is of 16 kinds of belief in the existence of Sanya after death. Sanyavada. So Sanyavad, it means perception. Sanya means perception, where the perception is, Atta is always there, Roop is there always. It does not decay after death. And this Roop has perception. Then Atta is not, that means the self is not the Roop. It does not decay after death, and it has, and Atta is both corporeal and incorporeal, real as well as not real. Then Atta is neither corporeal nor incorporeal. Atta is finite, self is finite, self is infinite. Self is both finite and infinite. Self is neither finite nor infinite. Then Atta has only one kind of perception, has various kinds of perception, has limited perception, unlimited perception. Self is a bliss. Self is a suffering. Self has both happiness, sukh and dukh. And self has neither happiness nor suffering. So these are the 16 different, I think these are, 16 different kinds of perceptions that are there with ourself, mind and body. Here Sanya would mean mind, the concept of perception, of understanding. Then the next group is of 8 kinds of belief in the non-existence of Sanya, or again perception or mind after death. Atta is corporeal, but here when we are talking about the Sanya, when the Buddha is talking about Sanya here, according to Buddhism, Sanya is just one part of Nama. There are 4, Nama is divided into 4 parts, of which Sanya is just one part of Nama. So the other 8 kinds of belief in the non-existence of Sanya after death, that again self is real. It stays even after death. Even after death, the self stays. It does not decay after death, and it has no perception, no mind, no perception. Self is incorporeal. It does not decay after death, and it has no perception. Self is both corporeal and incorporeal. Is neither corporeal nor incorporeal. Is finite, is infinite. Self is both finite and infinite. Is neither finite nor. So these are some views that were existing at that time. And these are all the possible combinations of these views that were existing. And they do so even today. Some of them. 8 kinds of belief in the existence of neither Sanya nor no. Na Sanya, na Asanya. Neva Sanya, na Asanya is actually the word. So after death, you have Neva na Asanya. No perception and no non-perception. That is the meaning, the literal meaning of this word. So here again we have these 8 kinds of belief. Atta is corporeal, it does not decay after death, and it has neither Sanya nor non-Sanya or nor Asanya. Does not decay after death. Atta is incorporeal, does not decay after death, and it has neither Sanya nor non-Sanya. Atta is both corporeal and incorporeal and does not decay after death, and it has neither Sanya nor Asanya. And so on. And at the end of it, the last 7 of them, 7 kinds of belief in annihilation, Uchchedavad. So Atta is corporeal and is annihilated after death. Atta is real, self is real. It stays and is annihilated after that. And self, the self, the Atta does exist in terms of Kamavachara Devas. Atta exists in terms of Brahmas caused by Jhan mind with sense faculties, complete. Atta does exist. And I do not say it does not exist. Akasanchayatana plane of Brahmas. So these are the Arupa Loka. So whatever Ditti we have is related to the Loka, to the existences. Next is the Vijnana Chaitanya plane, where the Atta does exist, and I do not say it does not exist in the Vijnana Chaitanya. And same with Akinchana Aitana and Neva Sanya Na Asanya plane of Brahmas. So all in all, it's difficult to understand each and every kind of wrong view that we have. But all of this put together, that existence of self, Atta itself, the Buddha has not agreed to. The Buddha says that there is no self. So when we have any such ditti about self, it means it's a wrong view. The 5 kinds of belief in the mundane Nibbana as realizable in this very life, Ditta Dhamma Nibbana. Some people think that the 5 kinds of sensual pleasures, that is self. And this enjoying life with luxury, that is the self, and that is what life is for. That is self. Enjoying the 5 kinds of sensual pleasures. Then next is, but the first jhana. Some people feel that this first jhana is the final attainment. Some people feel that the second jhana, that Atta does not exist, there is no Atta, but second jhana is the final attainment of Nibbana. Some people feel that again Atta does not exist, but the attainment of third jhana is the final. And then there is the 5th kind of people who feel that yes, self does not exist, they agree, but they feel that the 4th jhana is the final attainment. So before Buddha, the teacher that the Buddha visited and learned the jhana had this concept that this is the final attainment, this is the Nibbana, the 4th jhana. 5th jhana, 6th jhana, until in Abhidhamma we have the 9th jhana, Neva Sanya Na Asanya. So that was the final attainment as Nibbana. It was understood. So this is again some ditti, some wrong view. So the total 62 type of ditthis we have. Pubbant Anuditti 18, where we have the Sasad ditti, Ekacha Sasad ditti, Antananta ditti, Amaravikhepa ditti, Aditya Samuppanna ditti. So these are totally 18. Then we have Aparantanu ditti, 5 types. Totaling 44. And Michha ditti totaling 62. And then the Buddha talks about the cessation of the round of births, Vivatta Khadi. The Buddha says that a bhikkhu who knows correctly the origin of the 6 bases of contact, Charaitana basis, their cessation, their pleasantness, their danger, asadancha, adi navancha, nisaranancha, way of escape from them. Yatha bhutang pajanati. He realizes the dhammas of morality, of sila, samadhi, and panya, and vimutti, liberation. That surpasses all of these wrong views. So the Buddha gives the way out of these ditthis, beginning with sila, morality, and then an Arya Savaka, moving further with right concentration of mind, samadhi, panya, and vimutti. That surpasses all of these wrong views. Here the Buddha gives an example of a skillful fisherman. When any of the samanas and brahmanas who speculate on and adhere to the past or future, Ubba or Aparanta, anything they think about the past and the future, and or both the things. They're thinking about the past and the future. So they get caught in the net of this discourse with all the 62 categories of wrong views, michhaditti. So they try to rise, or they sink in it, in these wrong views. Either they rise or they sink. But it is all within the net. For all of these 62 michhaditti, they fall within this net, under the net, within the net of this discourse. So a skillful fisherman spreads out a finely meshed net on the water of a small lake. So actually the whole lake is getting covered, and all the big creatures in the lake, they get caught inside. If they rise to the surface in the water, inside the water, but under the net, they're still under the net. They are within the net. If they sink, again they are within the net. And therefore they are contained inside the net. So this is the simile that the Buddha gives. That we all are in the net. We are entangled in the net of our ditthis. If any one of the views comes up, it does so within the compass of this discourse. So any view, any wrong views that we are having, all fall within the area of this discourse. But the Tathagata's physical body stands cut off from the bonds of craving, tanha, or existence, bhava. Men and devas will behold him for so long as his physical body remains. They will not behold him when his physical body dissolves at the end of his life. How is it? Just as when the stalk is cut off from the tree, all mangoes hanging on it go with it. So because the physical body of the Tathagata stands cut off from craving for existence, that is bhavatanha. So no bhavatanha. And therefore the conclusion, Bhante Ananda at the end of the discourse says to the Buddha, Bhagavantang etadavocha acharyang bhante abhutang bhante. Ko nama ayang bhante dhamma pariyayoti. What is the name of this exposition or this discourse of Dhamma? Bhante Ananda asks the Buddha. Tasmitiha twang ananda imang dhamma pariyayang attha jalantipi namang dharehi. Attha jalantipi, net of advantage, meaningful. The meaningful, it holds the meaning. Dhamma jalantipi nang dharehi. Net of Dhamma, it beholds the complete Dhamma. Bramhajalantipi nang dharehi. It's the supreme net. Ditthi jalantipi nang dharehi. Net of views. Anuttaro sangam vijayotipi nang dharehi. Anuttaro, incomparable. Sangama Vijayo, victory in battle. That is the name you can give to this sutta. And when the Buddha says about the name, it is so special, the Buddha says, that you can give all of these names to this sutta. It is the first sutta in the Digha Nikaya, giving a direction. And this first sutta, the Buddha is saying, do not have such mithya-ditti. Stay away from all of these mithya-ditti, wrong views, in the first Digha Nikaya Sutta of the 34. In turn, giving a direction as to how one has to look at the Nikayas, the suttas. And when the Buddha spoke about the Dhamma Pariyaya, Dasa Sahasi Lokadhatu Akampithati, 10,000 world systems shook. And the monks, they rejoiced and they were delighted in the words of the Buddha. So Dhamma Pariyaya. Dhamma means doctrine, nature, truth, normal. Norm, it is a law, it is good conduct. Pariyaya is order, course, a method, figurative language, an indication, mode of speaking, communication. Or pariyayena, the mode of teaching the suttanta. An applied method which can be applied. It is an illustration, an explanation of the discourse, vividly giving similes and other things. And a figurative language as opposed to the abstract. Abstract, generally, these are kind of general statements like in Abhidhamma. So they are said to be nipariyayena. So the pariyayena again is the Bohara Desna. And the Buddha's method of giving pariyayena, instruction methodology, a gradual way of giving a discourse in an increasing order of importance, beginning with the basics, very basics, to inform what not is to be done first, and then to what is to be done at the end. So this unique instruction method of the Buddha, Dhamma Pariyaya, Buddha is talking about over here. And this sutta, basically, the Buddha is the discoverer of the Dhamma, the law, the order, the universal logic, the philosophy of righteousness, what is right, what is wrong. And therefore, from this sutta, we can say, Yokho dhammang pasati so mang pasati, the Buddha says, he who sees the truth, the Dhamma, sees me. Yo mang pasati so dhammang pasati, he who sees the Buddha sees the truth. Because the Buddha is the personification of the Dhamma. And as the Buddha said, that there is no tanha, no craving, no bhavatanha anymore. So here in the second noble truth, that means the first Dhamma Desna that the Buddha gave, the Dhammacakka Pavattana Sutta. In that, in the second part, in the second noble truth, we have the cause of suffering. The cause of suffering as tanha, craving. And the cause of suffering as kama tanha, bhava tanha, and vibhava tanha. So the 62 types of mithya-ditti are the cause of existence. They are the ditthis are a rebirth linking consciousness linking to bhava in the 31 planes of existence. In the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, the Buddha taught the 5 ascetics who advanced on the spiritual path, on the 8-fold path leading to realization of Nibbana, of 4 noble truth. In the Mangala Sutta, the Buddha taught to the higher realms, Deva, Brahma, Mara, about the moral and social constitution, leading to welfare and ultimately to realization of Nibbana, again over here. Sigaluvad Sutta was specially dedicated to the householder. So how to live a happy and peaceful life in the present, to observe the sila and the social responsibilities. Happy and peaceful in the next life by doing kusal karma, good actions in the present life. And attaining the ultimate good or supreme goal and developing the Noble Eightfold Path. Because the Noble Eightfold Path, how does it begin with? With Sammaditthi. So in all the previous 3 suttas, Buddha is talking about those practical applications which we can have in terms of moving towards Sammaditthi. So coming out of Michhaditti, restraining ourselves to begin with, the sila, to restrain ourselves. So Lobha, Dosa, Moha, these are the 3 things, akusala chitta that we have as per the Abhidhamma that we are learning. So Lobha, as a Michhaditti, it's a craving, it is tanha, the second noble truth. So one develops the practice of dana, of giving, or chaga. So that is Sammaditthi. Dosa, the second, akusala, it's a Michhaditti. Even gods, they have this kind of feeling of aversion. The lower realm gods, and even we as human beings are all the time in all of these akusal chitta. So how to overcome, how to see them? So the chitta, those chitta, when we say see for ourselves in our thoughts, we can move towards Sammaditthi by way of metta. For moha, panya. The moha is delusion. Moha is the Michhaditti basically. Moha is Michhaditti. Wrong views. So in akusala chitta, these 2 wrong views, 2 chitta we have of vichikiccha and of udhacha, they can be developed with panya, samatha and vipassana. And bhaya, as we develop saddha towards the Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, automatically the fear goes on reducing. So the Buddha's message in Bramhajala Sutta on Michhaditti, wrong views. Michhaditti is that the Buddha is telling us in this sutta is about the past life and future life. According to the Buddha, the suggestion is how to live our life, how to have no wrong views about the past life, about the future life. So the suggestion is how to live our life in the present and how should we move on in society in the present. Most of us are included in one or the other of these 62 wrong views. Our philosophy that we follow in life, the teaching, the idea that we have learned whatever method in our life. And we are carrying some ideas about that, about our culture, about the law. We can all check this by this Buddha's message, the 62 wrong views. Then whether we are accepting this idea or not depends on each one of us. So why does the Buddha give this suggestion? Why is the Buddha telling us about the wrong views? Living a life of luxury in present, according to the Buddha, is a wrong view. Because people are accepting this not as a wrong view, it means we are included in those 62 wrong views. So Buddha suggests very compassionately that it is not for our benefit to have these kind of wrong views. So in a very subtle way, Buddha explains the 62 wrong views in this sutta. If we know that this wrong view, this is a wrong view, and we apply those things in our life, then if we might change our way of lifestyle of wrong ideas and following wrong ideas in society. If this direction that the Buddha has given in the sutta would not be available to us, or if the Buddha did not tell what is right, what is wrong, as told in the Mangala Sutta and in so many other suttas, in all suttas, what is right, what is wrong, and especially what is a wrong view in the Bramhajala Sutta, what views we should not have. How should we know about all of these things if this direction is not given to us by the Buddha? So it is very important for us to know about wrong views and right views. Bramhajala Sutta is a kind of a checklist of wrong views and right views for us. So Bramhajala Sutta supports a right view for a peaceful society. The problems in society are due to wrong ideas in our life, and therefore we don't have peace and harmony. Wrong direction, wrong affection causes more suffering. Our human world is not balanced. If we go by wrong way, we will be more suffering. There will be more suffering. So we need a balanced way of life. We should try to search for the right way of peace, harmony, liberation. And therefore, the right view or right way is the way of the Noble Eightfold Path and the Four Noble Truths. This is the way through which we can get peace, harmony in society. And we can also, we should select based on the right view for economy, education, society, law, and so on and so forth. Thus, the Bramhajala Sutta supports to get a right view. And like we already saw, that the Miccha Ditthi is based on Atta, the self. Everything that we understand about our own self is Miccha Ditthi. The Buddha in Anguttara Nikaya says, Miccha Ditthi is most dangerous in the world, in life. Therefore, we need Sila, Samadhi, and Panya in life. Emperor Asoka has sent 9 missionary groups. Out of it, I should write here, 1 to Burma. 1 missionary group went to Burma. So the missionary group to Burma is, there were 2 Thera, Sona and Uttara, which we have discussed about in the beginning. They went to Burma and gave the Bramhajala Sutta. So the Burmese people know what is right and wrong based on this Bramhajala Sutta, even today. All through this time, from the time Emperor Asoka sent these missionaries until the 19th century, and even today, the Burmese people know what is right, what is wrong. And very easily they base these things on the Bramhajala Sutta. And that is why it was possible for them to maintain the Buddhist culture and Buddhist literature. For the people, these people, it is very easy to identify and to remove the wrong view and select what is the right view and right thought. They know very, very well the good and bad easily, even today, and can manage the Buddhist culture for a long time. Other countries lost Buddhism easily, but Burma maintained the Abhidhamma and the Vipassana. Vipassana is Abhidhamma and Vipassana, both of them contributing to the Sammaditthi, Ariya Eightfold Path and Four Noble Truths. And today, people believe Burmese people because they know the right view. And therefore, all across the globe, Abhidhamma is spreading from Burma. So the Bramhajala Sutta, finally we know the Buddha, which type of person the Buddha is, the Supreme Being. The Buddhism, we know about Buddhism, which type of religion Buddhism is. What is the philosophy of Buddhism? And we know Buddhism. So by this sutta, to know more about Buddhism, this sutta gives a very clear approach. Very clearly we can understand, okay, so this is the understanding. This should be the way things should be understood in Buddhism. And we also know about Buddha very clearly. About the supreme human being that the Buddha lived as. And this is all about what I would like to say for today. So the session I would like to open for the question. First to Bhante to tell us more about the Bramhajala Sutta. Yeah.
Bhante, you are on mute, Bhante. Bhante? Bhante, you are on mute, Bhante. On the phone, if you could just unmute yourself on the phone.
Okay, Upasaka.
Yes, yes, Bhante, we can hear you now, Bhante. Please go ahead, Bhante.
Okay. Okay, sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Thank you, Bhante.
Okay. Today presentation is very wonderful. So day by day, more and more presentation is, more and more deep, more and more difficult, more and more importance for our life. The Buddha said, "Yo ananda maya dhammocha vinyocha desido pinyato mamisina soho tatha." So whatever I teach, Vinaya Sutta Viduma, this you are the teachers after me. So stay now, Buddha message available as Tipitaka. So Vinaya Sutta Viduma is now our present Buddha. The Buddha said, "Your man pasati, your Dhamma pasati, so man pasati." Who know Dhamma, who see me. So we can see Buddha by his message is the Dhamma. So now this the online course that we try to approach the Buddha message, original message, Vinaya Sutta Viduma. We try to share original message from the Buddha. We are the Dhamma Duda messenger, Dhamma volunteers, we can say. We try to share original or Buddha message to the people. That's why this is a great job, the great function. As like the Bramhajala Sutta is, the very much difficult to understand. Difficult to understand. So, but Upasika Vishali, she trying to, research and then make a presentation. So this presentation is, very much completed. So people, yeah, maybe they happy to touch the Buddha knowledge, Buddha ideas. They have chance to know how Buddha explained what is especially Buddha, who is Buddha, which types of person. So Buddha is what is the Buddhism? Yeah, we can say Buddha idea is Buddhism. So Buddhism is what is. So we have chance to know, from your presentation. So that's why this your presentation, Dhamma presentation, is very much grateful, for the people. So you are real Buddha daughters today. I want to say, yeah.
Sadhu, 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 Bhante.
Should we open up the forum for question answer, Tai?
Yes,
Yes.
we can.
Thank you very much, Bhante. Thank you very much, Tai. I'm just going through the question opinion. There is one question coming is, as mentioned in one of the minor Shila, abstention from couriering, that is a messenger advised. How does it affect the Shila?
I would, Bhante, I would request you, Bhante, to please look at this question, Bhante. Since this question is Vinaya, it is a norm for Bhante, for the bhikkhus. I request Bhante, please guide us, Bhante. Thank you.
Especially today, I attend for listener. For listener. So, what is Upaska question?
So the question is, Bhante, that in one of the minor Shila, there was a mention about restraining from being a messenger. So how does it affect Shila? That was the question. Abstention from couriering. So how does it affect Shila?
This is current Buddha. This is the Buddha. His the morality, how he practice, basically his practice way. This is minor, the sila, middle sila and the mahasila. So basically, the question not clearly for me. So Vishali, what is types of question?
Bhante, the question is about Chula Sila, where the Buddha or is saying that the Buddha is not a messenger of messages or any things like.
Okay, not okay.
Not a, yeah.
No
so,
service for the service for the people.
Yes, Bhante. Yes, Bhante.
Hmm?
Yes, Bhante. Like for the kings, or not taking message from this place to that place, not bringing message from that place to this place about householders, about kings, or anybody for that matter. Yeah. Yes, Bhante.
Okay.
Basically, this is one of the Vinaya, no, Bhante? This is the Vinaya rule.
Yeah, no? So we are monk, we are Samana, Brahmana, okay? So we are not belong to the any, the, how to say, human work. Basically, the doing service, okay? Go here and there, please go there, please go there. So something like this, he go, one place, another place, he gives message to people to people, society to society. So this is very much a common work, not ordinary case. Very according to India, this down condition who are working for that for the money, like a slave, so Buddha, his society, Beshu Sangha, they're not doing for that as like slave, that they do not for that. So for that, the people, they think about that, Beshu Sangha is, no home, okay, no job, no money, should we do like this? The people maybe thought like this. Even though, stay now, who are Upasaka, Upasika, they are thinking like this in modern case also. So at the time, they never think about the man societies, higher, especially something like this. If we do like this, so much, problems come into this Beshu Sangha society because of messenger. We don't know this message is right or wrong, good and bad. Okay, because of us, so many problems come in. If the problem come in, the people are thinking about because of Bandi, because of Beshu Sangha, something like this. So at the time, our main job, Shila Samari Penya, Priyati, teaching, learning, also, less time. Practice, Samatha, Vipassana, also we know the time. So such like this, if we do, messenger, so how possible to do Shila Samari Penya? So Sila also not coming, Samari also not coming, Penya also not coming. We cannot give guide to people properly as teachers. So especially monk life is to teach special, message, Sila, Samari, Penya. So for that, we should avoid them from society case. The society, they are so much, people, they service for that around the world. So my society should be avoided from this case, not condition with this, that. Otherwise, so problems come in, people also slow down, we also not get any special knowledge, something like this. So that's why these especially Buddha also not doing. That's why Buddha is which types of person we know. The Buddha said, to Beshu society, should not do like this. You are not your duty. You are not human. You are not, messenger for the people. So that's why monk society also, which types of monk, society, we should know by this method. So okay, this is supporting for morality. Very great supporting for, to practice morality.
Thank you, Bhante.
Thank you, Bhante. Sai, your next question is, what is the right view about past and future?
right view about past and future?
Yes, Sai.
Okay. I think this about the past. Let us see about the past. In our Abhidhamma session, we have seen, because through our Abhidhamma session, it is more easy to understand the concepts very clearly. So I would like to answer this from that perspective, that whatever past that we look at, whichever position we are in at the present moment, we have come from the past. So it is because of the past that we are here in the present moment. But the Buddha said that, okay, let us look at from the ahetuka chitta point of view. Whatever is coming in front of us at every moment is because of our past actions, whether they are kusala or whether they are akusala. So we can look at the present moment, because whatever is coming, whatever we are receiving in terms of seeing, in terms of hearing, in terms of smelling, tasting, touching, all of these things, whatever we have today, now, is because of our past efforts or past actions. So we can see the present moment like this in terms of past. However, we know that if there is happiness in the present moment, we can say that we have done some good karma, some kusala karma, which now at this moment we are having happiness or luxury or some sukh, some good car, good house, something like that. Or we are seeing the Buddha statue in front of us. It is a big kusala karma, something that we have done in the past related to Buddha Dhamma Sangha. We are able to see the Buddha in front of us right now. So it is because of our past kusal karma that this situation is coming in front of us right now. It is an ahetuka chitta, kusala vipaka, ahetuka chitta. Likewise, if we have some suffering at this time, some pain in the body or something like that, so we can look at it that it is because of some past bad action, a kusala karma, that right now at this time we are having this kind of pain in body, or maybe something that we do not like is happening is because of our past actions. Now, how to look at this situation for future? The Buddha said that whatever you have done in the past can be changed. If you are undergoing any difficulty, any suffering, the Buddha tells us at this time what is right, what is wrong, what is kusala, what is akusala, what are the 10 sucharita in sila, what are the 10 punya kiryavatu, the merits that we can get for future life. At this time, the Buddha says about the eightfold path, starting with sammaditthi, to correct our wrong views. And the Buddha also tells about the Four Noble Truth, the truth in life, about anicca, dukkha, anatta, this knowledge that we get in the present moment. The Buddha says it all depends on you as a person to make your future. So you yourself are the manager of your life. At this moment, how do you see things? How do we see things? We look at or try to understand the Buddha's message at this time. And we see that how, seen through the Mangal Sutta or through the Sigalovad Sutta, especially for householders, how we can look at the right view, very well defined right view or practical application of the Dhamma the Buddha has explained. We have seen in the Sigalovad Sutta also for us householders. So how do we see the future? So the Buddha says Attahi attano natho. You yourself are the maker of your future. Whatever we want in life, we can get at this moment if we work for that. If we utthana sampada is what it is, putting efforts in that direction, right efforts in the direction. So in the Sigaluvad Sutta, we have seen that. Attahi attano natho. You are the creator of your life. And the Buddha also says about our own self. The samma panihitam chittam is the best for you. Nobody, natang mata pita kaira, nobody else or any relatives cannot do anything for us. What our chitta, our mind, a mind calmed of lobha dosa moha, a mind calmed of these things, in restraint, when we practice the sila, how we restrain ourselves, that kind of chitta, abstaining from all evils, that kind of chitta will do the best for us for future. So we can look at future from the Buddha's perspective, the Buddha's message. We can look at the future in this way. So the past and the future are linking us at this moment, in the present moment. So it is the practice of Sila, Dana, Samadhi, Panya. It is the practice, Bhavana. All these things when we are practicing by the Four Noble Truth, the way of the Four Noble Truth and the Eightfold Path, which will help us for our future development. So that is how we can link the past and the future in the present moment. So is that all right?
Yes, Sai. Thank you very much, Sai. Sai, your next question is I think we have question multiple times and way, but let's try one more time here. Question is, Buddha preached no self theory and anattavad. Then when we die, what happens to our body? How rebirth in different forms happens depending on when there's body, no atma, then how happen? Oh boy.
Okay. What happens to our body when we die? Is that the question?
So question will be how the rebirth happens with no body, no atma being present. Without atma, how does the rebirth happen? With the rebirth happens and then in atma, how does the rebirth happen?
I'm sorry, Pankaj.
Okay, is my
voice
voice
breaking? Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Okay. Your is have reached.
I'm not able to hear you clearly. Yeah. So.
Okay. We try. Okay. Right.
A little bit better. If you can continue, I will know. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Right. So, how does the rebirth happen without Atma being present?
Okay.
So depending on the without Atma, without self, without so Buddha preaches Anatmavad. So how does rebirth happen on the Kamma theory that he's explaining?
Okay. Okay. All right. So in the Ahetuka Chitta, and after we finished with the Mahakusala Chitta in Abhidhamma, Bhante has explained us about the Patisandhi Chitta. That means it is the rebirth linking consciousness. That means the Chitta between this life and the next life is the Patisandhi Chitta. the chitta which is the last chitta, joins the last chitta of this life and the first chitta of the other life, next life. So it means what? We are not talking about self over here. We are talking about the chitta, the consciousness. And in Abhidhamma, the Buddha has spoken about the Paramatha, the ultimate realities. The ultimate reality is not the self. The ultimate realities are four. Chitta, what we are learning, what we are studying, what Bhante is teaching us right now, the Kamavachara 54 Chitta which we have finished. So the Chitta, the Chetasika, the Rupa and the Nibbana, these are the ultimate realities. And self is not an ultimate reality. So therefore, the Buddha's idea of evolution or moving forward is based on Chitta, Chetasika, Rupa and Nibbana. That means every moment the Chitta is creating because of the 6 roots, 3 roots of akusala, that is lobha, dosa, moha, and 3 roots of akusala, that is alobha, adosa, amoha. Because of these 6 roots, these hetus or cause, because of these 6 causes, our chitta is creating all the time. So therefore, there is no self here. Everything is changing. The nama and the rupa, what a human being is made up of. Nama, again, is the Panchakhanda, 4 parts of nama and 1 part of rupa. The Panchakhanda, that forms a human being. And these are all 5 are changing all the time. Just like the river is flowing. So it is because of, that's how we move ahead in samsara. So we are, in this life, we are going ahead with these five things. The Panchakhanda. That is what the human being is made up of. And therefore, there is no self, there is no permanent self here. And therefore, we do not look at a human being in, as per the Buddha's message, we do, and the Pali literature, there is no permanent self. It is the 4 Paramatha, Chitta, Chetasika, Rupa, Nibbana. These are the 4 Paramatha that a human being, or any being for that matter, is made up of. Is that okay?
Thank you very much, Sai. Your next question is, when greed arises, we know that the greed has arisen. When hatred arises, we know that hatred has arisen. But when wrong view has arisen, do we know that which we are holding currently is a wrong view? Is something like post-facto, which means we know about it retroactively, looking back, that we view?
Okay. Just to clarify the question, the thing that we know when the lobe and dosa is arising, but we do not know when or how the moha has arisen. Is that it?
Right. Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. So in the akusala chitta that we have, especially the 8 chitta of lobha. So we know from those chitta, yes, this is lobha. The 2 chitta of dosa, we know, yes, this is dosa. Then there are 2 chitta of moha. Moha means, which are these 2 chitta? One is associated with vichikiccha, that is doubt. And the other, doubt. First is the doubt, moha chitta, that is on doubt. And second chitta is udhaccha, restlessness. So whenever we have a doubt, in our mind about the Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, about the faith in the Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha. Whenever we have about Sila, about doubt about Sila, or doubt about Dana, or doubt about Kamma and Vipak, or Kamma and Kamma Phala theory, whenever we have a doubt that is it true, then we should know that this is our ignorance. The doubt is arising because of our ignorance. So this is the chitta of ignorance. On the other hand, again, when we really do not know whether this is right or wrong, then we know as a householder, we know that there are 10 kusala kamma patha, 10 good actions. So these 10 kusala kamma patha are 3 of kaya, 4 of vachi kamma, and 3 of mano kamma. So mano kamma also, the third one is on moha or michhaditthi or wrong view. So we have anything that comes in front of us as a vipak. Let's say we think about something and we really don't know what is the result of that, but something comes to us in the form of happiness, sukh, then we should know it was due to something kusala, some kusala mind action also. But if something comes to us, when we think about those things and something comes in the form of maybe dukkha, not desirable, it is not desirable kind of thing, we are not happy about it, we are not comfortable about it, then we should know that it is because of some akusala kamma. If that akusala kamma is not falling in lobh, dosa, surely it must be from moha, the ignorance that we have. So then we should try to look at how to see this particular point from a kusala kamma perspective of sucharitam. And again, we have the 10 punya kirya vatu. So 10 good meritorious actions. Again, so those 10 actions that we have, which start with dana, sila, and all of those, dhamma, savana, dhamma. So 10 points that we have. Again, those are guidelines for us to come out of our ignorance, the moha, chitta. So when we do not understand, I think these are the guiding points which would lead us to more knowledge, more understanding. And like in the Mangal Sutta again, is a gradual way of taking us to the noble Arya Satchana Dasanam, a gradual way of removing our ignorances and moving towards kusala action or wholesome actions, or towards dana, sila, and bhavana, towards bhavana. The more we practice in life, we come out of such delusions. Yeah, moha, yeah, for that matter. So this is
okay, Sai.
Sorry.
Yeah, you wanted to say something. Please go ahead, Sai.
Yeah, so the kind of suttas what we have already done in the past 3 classes and today's class, it is more for us to identify. That is the first step, that we start identifying the lobha, dosa, and moha chitta. And once we start studying or learning the texts, the Pali texts, or Buddha's Vachana, Buddha Vachana, slowly we start understanding our ignorances. When we read the sutta, like we said in the past 3 sutta classes, that the sutta is a measure, it is a thread. When we read the sutta, we understand, oh, I did not know this before. oh, is this some way of looking at things? Is a new way, this is so helpful, this is for the benefit of all, this is for the benefit of others, and also for my benefit. When we start measuring using the sutta, we start measuring our own life with the sutta, what is written in the sutta. And that is how this also helps us to come out of our ignorances, about coming out of moha, about delusion, coming out from delusion, and to increase our panya. So through Dhamma Savana, Dhamma Sakacha, through again Bhavana, Vipassana, meditation, and Samatha Bhavana, all of these are helping us to come out of our ditthi, our delusions. Yeah. Is that okay?
Okay. Yes, Sai. Thank you very much, Sai. Your next question is again on the similar lines, Sai. What you are talking about right now is how to follow eightfold path.
So the eightfold path is the fourth noble truth, isn't it? The fourth noble truth.
Yes, Sai. Yeah. Fourth noble truth.
Yeah.
How to follow the eightfold noble path. Yeah.
Yeah. And if you look at the fourth noble truth, when we discussed in the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, the Buddha says, because what was not known, the Buddha knows that now, is what the Buddha says in the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta. In that, the Buddha says the Majjhima Patipada is the eightfold noble path, Ariya Atthangiko Maggo. So the eightfold noble path, the fourth point, when we look at the Parivattang Dvadasakarang, that means in three ways we see each of the noble truth. So the fourth noble truth, how do we see? Because that is the fourth noble truth is the Aryo Atthangiko Maggo, or the Magga which takes us to Nibbana, is what is mentioned there. So the fourth noble truth is, the Buddha says, Bhavi Tabbang, one should develop. So it is a way to develop our chitta, or the wisdom. So it is by twofold. One is by vipassana and the other is by samatha. So even in Abhidhamma, the chapter dedicated to samatha and vipassana for development, for bhavana. So how to do that? So when you are actually doing meditation, when we are doing vipassana, samatha and vipassana, and we are repeatedly developing our chitta, then that is the way we practice the eightfold path. But it begins with sammaditthi. Obviously, our views have to be clear, and we also have to develop on that. So the eightfold noble path has a foundation of sila. To develop more on the eightfold noble path, for us householders, it is important to develop on the practice of sila, to practice sila in a proper way. So that is the foundation of the eightfold noble path. So the other, sila, samadhi and panya. So the samadhi and panya, which is in the vipassana, is based on the foundation of sila. And sila is the one which calms our mind, restraining our body, our verbal and our mental actions. It restrains, and therefore it calms our mind. So sila actually is the foundation of peace, and then we develop our mind based on this. So that is how we begin with practicing Eightfold Noble Path or Arya Athangiko Maggo, as what is mentioned by the Buddha in the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta and the Four Noble Truths that have been discussed in the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sai. Yes, Sai. Your next question is, according to Buddha, what is the cause of our suffering? Is it bad karma or tanha?
Cause of our suffering. Cause of our suffering is our bad actions in the past. These, what do we say, bad actions? They are the actions of cause due to, or they have roots in lobha, dosa, moha. So if we look from the Abhidhamma perspective, the 8 lobha chitta, they are the tanha. But if you look at dosa, then that is the next stage. And dosa is again affected in some way or the other by lobha. It is because of lobha that dosa occurs. So all the 3, lobha, dosa, moha, ignorance. Because of ignorance, we tend to do bad actions. Because of ignorance, we do akusala karma. If we know what is good, we will not want to do what is bad, because we know that anavajjam kammam, sukha vipaka lakkhanam, that is the sukh which comes from anavajjam, that which is blameless action. So all the 3, lobh, dos, moh, they are interconnected. But if you look at the Four Noble Truth, the cause of suffering over there, the Buddha mentions, is lobha, is tanha. Tanha is craving. Craving, bhava tanha, kama tanha, bhava tanha, vibhava tanha. So craving for sensual pleasures is kama tanha. Craving for existence in the next life, that is bhava tanha. And then there is craving for no existence also, that is vibhava tanha. So tanha is the cause as per the Four Noble Truth that the Buddha says. If you look at the Abhidhamma perspective, it is the lobha chetasika. Again, it is the greed or craving for that matter. Yeah. Is that okay?
Yes, Sai. Thank you very much. Your next question is, today you mentioned Shila, Samadhi, Panya, Vimutti. Please explain Vimutti.
Sila, Samadhi, Panya. This
and
is
Vimutti.
yeah.
Sorry, yeah.
Yeah. So the Eightfold Path, right? The Eightfold Path is talking about Sila, Samadhi, and Panya. Is that right? The Fourth Noble Truth. The Fourth Noble Truth talks about the magga, how to get the magga and the phala. That is the Arya Satchani, Atthapurisa Puggala. The 4 stages of the Arya Puggala and the 4 phala, the 4 stage of attainment and their phala. So the Eightfold Path, that means the Fourth Noble Truth is talking about the magga. What does walking on the Eightfold Path lead to? It leads to the Third Noble Truth. The Third Noble Truth is Nibbana. So the Eightfold Noble Path is something that we need to train ourselves. It is something to learn. Sekha, it is called as Sekha, a learner. So a learner, an Arya Savaka, or we as householders, we need to learn or how to do the Eightfold Path, how to do Eightfold Path, which is defined by Seal, Samadhi, and Panya. These three things: Sila, Samadhi, and Panya. And what does walking on this magga or walking on the Eightfold Path lead to? It leads to the third noble truth, that is Nibbana. So the Vimutti here, the Buddha is talking about is Nibbana. Once Buddha attained Nibbana, no longer needs to talk about, that is the stage of liberation. After walking on the Eightfold Noble Path, that is after walking with Sila, Samadhi, and Panya, after developing on this path, is the ultimate realization of liberation, that is Nibbana, that is Vimutti. So the Buddha is talking about these four things. How Buddha has attained through the Majjhima Patipada, that is the Eightfold Path, realization of the Four Noble Truth, that is Nibbana. The third Noble Truth is the Nibbana. So the fourth Noble Truth is the path of Sila, Samadhi, Panya, which is the cause for Nibbana, the Vimutti, the liberation. Is that okay?
Yes, I think a little clarification on the third noble truth that you are referring here. So the first one would be dukkha, second one would be dukkha samudaya, third one would be
Nibbana.
There is a cessation. Cessation is happening to Nibbana. So that is what you wanted to say here, right?
Yeah, the third one is the Nibbana.
Yeah, so cessation of suffering happens because once you attend the Nibbana, that's what you meant to say. Yeah. Thank you very much. Right?
Okay. Yeah, thank you.
Your next question is, are there types of Nibbana? Can you comment a little bit more on that?
Types of Nibbana? You mean to say the Puggala, the various personalities? Yeah.
So it says, kindly explain Nibbana and its type, if there are a question mark about it, if there are any different types of Nibbana.
Nibbana is Nibbana. So, yeah.
So maybe he's trying to get to the Atharya Puggala and then the types in there, right?
All right.
Okay.
Basically, Nibbana is Nibbana. No more birth after that. Yeah, it's cutting off of Tanha and Bhava. Like the Buddha said in this sutta, in the Bramhajala Sutta, the Buddha is talking about how the Buddha has cut off his Tanha and the Bhava. And that is Nibbana. That is the realization or attaining of enlightenment. And so the Buddha taught how to reach Nibbana to other people. So the Buddha, when he taught Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta to Kondanya, one of the Panchavaggiya bhikkhus, and Kondanya obtained the Dibba Chakku, it meant that the Buddha became a Samma Sambuddha. So the Buddha, whatever the Buddha realized as Nibbana, the Buddha taught another person, and another person could listen and attain the path. So that is the message of Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta. It means that It is not necessary to become a Samma Sambuddha to attain Nibbana. People like us, lay people, who listen to the Dhamma as taught by the Buddha can also attain Nibbana. But Samma Sambuddha is the one who can teach how to attain Nibbana to other people. And a person who is not able to teach how to attain Nibbana to another person, but can do it for his own self. He can attain Nibbana for his own self. He can do it, he learns by his own self, but he is not able to teach another person. Then he is called as a Pacheka Buddha. So, or some people translate it in English as private Buddha, but it's not the right translation. And so we have Samma Sambuddha. So Buddha discovering the complete path to Nibbana by his own self, by his own struggle through innumerable lives, asankhya, that is 4 asankhya and 1 lakh kappa. So that is the period that the Buddha took to attain the final goal of Nibbana. And in this process, also Buddha became a Samma Sambuddha to teach other people how to come out of suffering, the society, other people. And Pachek Buddha realized it for own self. Then there are the disciples of the Buddha, the Arya Savaka, the noble disciples like Kondanya. So Kondanya is a noble disciple of the Buddha, and when the Buddha teaches the Dhamma, Kondanya is able to realize it for his own self and attain Nibbana. So he is then called as Arya Savaka, but if he is the foremost one, then he is called as an Agga Savaka, the foremost one in certain activities. He's the foremost, the first one to attain the Nibbana after teaching. So for different things, for different aspects, there are Agga Savakas, the foremost Savakas of the Buddha. And then there are other Arhants. So basically, we see that the Nibbana that can be attained is in 4, or you can say 3 methods. One is the Samma Sambuddha attaining Nibbana. Second is the Pachek Buddha attaining Nibbana. And third is Arya Savaka, the disciple of Samma Sambuddha who attain Nibbana. So these are the 3 Puggala, 3 persons who can attain Nibbana. That is about the different ways of attaining Nibbana. If we are looking at the Magga, which are the 4 types of personalities on the path, the Magga, then there is Sotapanna, who's a stream enterer. Then we have Sakadagami. Then we have Anagami, and we have the Arhanta, who has attained Nibbana. So these are the 4 Puggala, and these are the Magga and the Phala. Phala is the result they get. So if we look at Nibbana, then there are just these 3 types of people who can attain Nibbana.
Okay, thank you very much, Tai. Your next question is, what is the difference between Samadhi, Samadhi, and Vipassana?
Okay. Samadhi and Vipassana, basically, if you look at Vipassana, is to see in a special way. How to see? So if we are seeing our own self in meditation, we can say that it is that it is a special way of seeing, right? The Buddha has defined how to do that through the methods of 40 kammatthana. If we look at vipassana, passana is seeing. And usually the vipassana technique that we have, very prevalent in India and around, is the way of seeing the breath through as a breath as a medium, our own body, through 4 methods: chittanupassana, kayanupassana, dhammanupassana, vedananupassana. That is vipassana through these 4 methods. And samatha is another practice. It is a way of developing the dhyana, the jhana method. So I think we would be talking more about all of this in the future classes, and it would be nice to hear from Bhante about samatha and vipassana in more details as a practice, because I would not like to talk about more on this respect. But we can say that vipassana is for developing panya. It is for developing panya that we see in a special way. And samatha is for development of jhana. Yeah.
Okay, Tai. Thank you very much, Tai. And this would be your last question for the day. Sasatta ditti.
Sasatta ditti. Okay.
Sasatta ditti, yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Can
sorry.
you please explain more?
The diacritic there. Yeah, I'm sorry about that.
Okay.
Yeah. So sasatta ditti. Sasatta is a word which is like means eternal. Always, it will be there. Always. So sasatta ditti is even if I die, I will be there. About atta, about myself. Even if I die, after death also, I will be there. My body will be there, or my sanya, my perception will be there, or something will be there. So it is like something that is not destroyed, something that does not go away, something that remains in this loka, in this universe, or life after life, it remains. That is the theory of eternal, always eternal. Like we have concept of eternal in different religions. That, for example, we say no, there is one creator. He's always there. Sasat, eternal. In Hindi, Marathi, you can also say Shashwat is the word, is the term. Always there. Always. It does not die, it cannot be destroyed, it cannot be created. Though science does not believe in anything that is eternal, so far, they have not found out the subatomic particles. They are trying to find the things like what is eternal, what remains always. But as far as self goes, the different religions have different philosophies, and they have philosophies of eternalism as well. Even during the time of the Buddha, there were different schools who believed in such kind of things, like something which remains always and does not get affected even after birth and death and so on and so forth. So that is called as sasata. Sasata.
Okay, thank you very much, Tai. And if we are way out of time, but if you want to take one more question, this is again on the Eightfold Path. We have tackled this question earlier from a different angle as to how to develop Eightfold Path. Somebody is asking in the same question with starting with anicca, dukkha, anatta, how to cultivate the Noble Eightfold Path.
how to cultivate the Noble Eightfold Path.
Eightfold Path, starting with anicca, dukkha, anatta.
Mhm. So the Buddha has the next sutta that the Buddha talks about is the Anatta Lakkhana Sutta after the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta. No self. It is not no self from that perspective, but it is like changing. Everything is changing. Whether it is inside or whether it is outside, everything is changing. So this is anicca. Nothing is here to stay. So we look at whether we look at suffering, whether dukh, sukh, everything is changing. That we say that it is anicca. Dukkha is that discomfort which comes when we start believing that something should stay. If that something which changes later brings in discomfort or suffering, that we either want it, if we like, we want more. If we don't like, we say, no, I don't want. So this is the chitta of like and dislike, which brings in, which creates karma. Like the ahetuka chitta are the same results which come before us based on how we have reacted previously before this. So if we have reacted in likeness, so the chitta comes with craving. Ahetuka chitta in the present moment, it comes with a craving. If we have not liked it earlier, so at this moment, the chitta comes with aversion, dosa. So lobha, dosa, like that. So the thing is, everything is changing, and it is we who are creating the changing pattern of our chitta. If any chitta that has arisen in us, and we look at it with yatha bhutang pajanati, to see that how it is changing, just seeing. I think in the Udana, in the Daruchiriya, example of Daruchiriya, it is said, Dittha Dittha Mataya Ditthesi, to see as it is. So this is one of the ways to look at anicca, and that this is not the self, this is not me, this is not mine. That is how we look at anatta. So that's how these three things are called as anicca, dukkha, anatta. The changing things that are changing, tilakhana, three characteristics of everything within us and outside of us. So I think I can say this about anicca, dukkha, anatta. Yeah. Is that okay?
Thank you very much, Sai. Yeah, and we will take this one more last question. I know, like I've been saying that, but this seems to be pretty relevant question in today's topic. If one is not able to understand or convinced by Michhaditti and turns away from learning it, does that lead to Michhaditti itself, or explain the reason for the inability to understand Michhaditti? What are the challenges in understanding Michhaditti?
In our daily life, we already have a pattern, a lifestyle, a habitual pattern, our way of living. And if we continue with the same way of living, I don't think that would bring in any change in our outlook, or if whatever ditti we are having, whatever ignorance or delusion that we are having in this present moment, will continue if we do not try to work on or try to develop our wisdom or panya, or maybe through the practice of restraint like sila, then through the practice of meritorious actions like so if we are working on this path, every moment of avidya, let's say, or moha or delusion is changing to panya or knowledge. We are trying, the chitta is developing the pattern or the intention of knowledge. So when we are studying the Abhidhamma, higher knowledge, or when we are studying about the Buddha Dhamma Sangha, the teachings of the Buddha, all these are, the intention of all of these teachings are to develop wisdom on the path. The goal, the final goal is Nibbana. So every moment we are changing our mind pattern, or we are trying to develop our mind pattern. If we are studying about a kusala chitta, a hetuka chitta, and then mahakusala chitta, so we know jnana sampayutta, that this is a kusala kamma, a beautiful consciousness, sobana chitta, and we are trying to develop our sobana chitta. In that process, what is happening? Previously, not knowing or not developing or not doing action, sucharita action earlier, we were in the delusion, we were in ignorance, in the same habitual pattern, earlier habitual pattern. But right now, when we are studying the Dhamma and we are trying to develop or do kusala kamma, good actions of speech, of body, of mind, when we are taking these efforts, utthana sampada, this is right effort towards knowledge. Even arakha sampada, even if we have done earlier good work, we need to maintain, we need to preserve good actions in the present time. And that's a way towards wisdom, to develop panya, to develop knowledge. That is the chitta, jnana sampayutta chitta. Even if it is not jnana vipayutta, we may not understand wholly. So we don't know completely, but still if we know that this is a good action that we are doing by venerating the Buddha, the Dhamma, the Sangha, developing faith in the Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, developing good actions of Sila, then practicing good deeds, meritorious deeds of Dana for the Sangha, which is the Anuttarang, Punya Khetam, is so much of good merits. So when we are working, when developing faith, or when we are doing Sila, Samadhi, Panya, Bhavana, and all these actions, there are so many of them. When we are doing Dhamma Desana or Dhamma Savana, listening to the Dhamma, discussing the Dhamma for more clarity. So all this time that we are here for, let's say now, amount of time that we discussed about the Dhamma, our mind, our chitta is constantly in the intention of seeking knowledge. And this is a very kusala kamma that we do. So that's how we can develop our chitta of moha, delusion, or even in the present time, we can change our habit pattern towards a more kusal karma and a more happier state for either for the next life, that is for nibbana, that is one thing, and second is for sugati, that is the next birth in devloka, that is for householders. Even in Sigaluvad Sutta, the Buddha says either you realize Nibbana in this very life, or you seek a higher birth in Sugati in the Devlok. So that's how the pattern goes with our daily life. Is that okay?
Okay. Thank you very much. With that, we come to a question for to us. And we shall, with all the good, for teaching us the Dhamma. Thank you very much, Sai. Discourse. Namo Buddhaya. Thank you very much, Bhante, for the teachings.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Bhante. Thank you.